Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the new fusion that is starting this week. It's starting on Thursday. Not much time. It's actually funny. I did predict, of course, that this would be when the fusion started, but I had predicted and expected that we'd hear about it last week. So we didn't. I guess maybe they delayed it because of Sun Wukong coming out to the game and they wanted to sort of stack those up. I don't really know, but whatever the reason, Strategos Islin, he is coming this week. By the way, I will be streaming tomorrow. So if we come over here in Clan vs Clan, I did get Sun Wukong already. I think there's some tricks you could do to maybe not claim him until tomorrow, but I wasn't really bothered. We're going to be building him during Clan vs Clan. I will be streaming this Clan vs Clan. It is personal rewards, and it looks like there's actually some extra juicy personal rewards up for grabs this time. It's going to be a big battle. So I'm going to be a bad YouTuber and not do a video on Sun Wukong today and give up on those views because number one, I just wasn't really in the mood to be a good YouTuber today. And number two is going to make life easier tomorrow, being able to book him up and whatnot and build him tomorrow and get some points for personal rewards. So anyway, enough blabbering. Let's take a look here at Strategos Islin, who is a defense-based magic affinity legendary for the High Elf faction. Actually quite nice. Funny enough, there's not that many High Elves in the game. It's one of the less populated factions for one of the originals and a very popular faction, funnily enough. But yeah, so cool to see him come in. And my initial impressions of this guy, having a quick glance through his kit, was that he's looking pretty solid. So let's take a look. Double slash is A1, attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 35, that books to 50% chance of placing a provoke debuff for 1 turn. When counterattacking, the chance increases to 50%. So 2 50% chances is basically a 75% chance total to place this. Let me go work it out for this one. I'm not sure off the top of my head. Okay, so quick maths, 2 65% chances should be about an 87% chance to place provoke when counterattacking. That's actually very strong. I mean, on a counterattack, you think about Doom Tower waves or Dungeon waves or whatever. He does have counterattack in his kit. We'll see that in a minute. He's got a 87%. That's a very, very, very high chance to counterattack an enemy whenever they hit him with any sort of AoE ability. He's going to come in, counterattack, and almost definitely provoke. That's very good. And look, 250% chances, i.e. a 75% chance to provoke on his A1, is very solid for Hydra as well, and very solid for the Magma Dragon. They're the two bosses where provoke becomes very important. That's a very high chance, and indeed, that counterattack is going to be amazing for Magma Dragon, though that's a fairly easy boss, to be fair. Hindrance, his A2 4-turn goes to a 3-turn cooldown, attacks all enemies before attacking, 75% chance goes to 100% of decreasing the duration of all enemy buffs by 1 turn, and has a 75 going to 100% chance of placing decreased speed for 2 turns. Few interesting things here. So immediately I'm looking at that going AoE decreased speed. That is brilliant for Hydra. That's very, very, very good. It's actually very difficult to get both increased speed and decreased speed into a Hydra team. And I'm obviously very familiar with this because I do lots of videos on more budget teams as well for Hydra. It can be tricky to find a good AoE decreased speed champion on a budget that's easily accessible for like a regular player. There's not very many that are that good. So this is pretty huge for going into Hydra. On top of that, decreasing enemy buffs, that's decent for Hydra. I think this is also pretty good for Arena. Like I'm thinking he's probably going to be something of a mid-game Arena monster. Not end-game Arena, but mid-game. Decreasing enemy buff duration does not activate polymorph. Polymorph activates when you remove enemy buffs directly. There's an actual, removing ability, or when you place debuffs on them. Decreasing their buff duration does not trigger polymorph. So this will give you a way to get past, those, champions in 1-turn Stone Skin. It's still going to be a 50-50 because Stone Skin can, I think, actually, can Stone Skin even resist? I'm not even sure. Now, off the top of my head, I'm not sure. Does Stone Skin resist the duration decrease half the time, like it does with buff removals? Off the top of my head, I don't know. So I think it's certainly very interesting, is what I'm trying to say. Maybe someone in the comments knows for sure and will let us know. But there is definitely potential there. Either way, I think it's a good move. It's a solid move. Good for Doom Tower waves, Dungeon waves potentially, Faction Wars obviously. Decent for Hydra, decent for Arena. So yeah, nice move. Flawless Stratagem. 6 turn goes to a 4 turn cooldown. Puts an ally protection buff on all allies except this champion for 2 turns. And increased defense on all allies for 2 turns. Also places counterattack on this champion for 2 turns. Then a shield buff on this champion for 2 turns. The value of the shield is proportional to this champion's defense. There's a lot going on here. I mean, let's tackle this first. Value of the shield proportional to defense. We don't know what that proportion is going to be. This could vary massively depending on what they want to do. Usually, shields proportional to defense tend to be pretty good, and he should be giving himself increased defense as he's placing it. So likely the increased defense is going to be boosting up that shield. I'm expecting it to be a pretty strong shield. So he's going to come in, put increased defense in your whole team, put ally protection on everyone except himself, then for himself puts counterattack and shield. Immediately, this stands out as being actually a really strong Hydra move, right? It's going to give your team a ton of protection in Hydra, ally protection and increased defense. And then he can mischief tank as well, counterattack and a shield, right? Shield is a great buff for Hydra, but if you've got ally protection and increased defense coming in pretty reliably, you're not going to need it. I will say on a 4-turn cooldown, this is a champion that is likely going to need the opposite of this move. He's likely going to need an ally buff extension. So a champion like Oella or Godseeker Iniri, right? Someone who can come in and extend ally buffs is going to be very strong with this champ to make the ally protection increase defense, have better uptime, to make the counterattack and the shield have better uptime as well. Now, the shield might get broken through the ally protection, but it's going to help him survive it at the very least. And if you got a blood shield ring for himself, whenever he counterattacks, he's going to refill it. So looking really good here. Protect the troops is passive. Whenever this champion is attacked, heals themselves by 1% for each 500 defense this champion has. Heals all other allies under ally protection buffs placed with this champion by 30% of the skill's initial heal. Again, very interesting. Let's say you've built him with 5,000 defense. That's not totally unreasonable. Let's say 5,000 defense. He's going to heal himself for 10% of his max HP. Now, he's going to have increased defense as well, 60%. So let's say, well, let's keep it simple. Let's say he's got 7,500 defense. It's going to heal him for... oh, my, what did that do? Oh, no. My maths is gone. Hang on. Let's do it properly. Let's say 5,000 defense and multiply it by 1.6. Okay. Let's do this properly. He'd have 8,000 actually there. And then if we divide that by 500... 16, so he'd 16%. He'd heal himself for 16% of his max HP whenever he's attacked. And then he'd heal all other allies. Divide that by, divided by 10, multiply by 3. So divide by 10 and multiply by 3. 4.8. Basically 5%. Let's say 5%. Rough ball it here. He's going to heal everyone under ally protection for 5% of his max HP. Not much, but considering it's every single time he's attacked, that could stack up really quickly, you know? Especially if he's mischief tanking in Hydra. He's going to be pumping out. I'm curious to see it in action. But this is probably one of those things. Maybe it's not that strong, but to me, it strikes me as the sort of thing that probably does a lot more healing than you would expect. So I'm definitely curious about that. Then finally, he has an aura, which I'm blocking, to increase ally accuracy in all battles by 60. That's a very solid aura. That's useful, obviously, everywhere. So no matter what, you can use it, and it's good. It's a solid aura. So yeah, nothing to complain about there. On the whole, what do I think about this champion? I think this champion looks brilliant for Hydra, for any like earlier mid-game players. He's kind of got a ton of stuff going on. Lowering their buffs a little bit, AoE decrease speed, great provoke move, mischief tanking, and keeping your team alive with this passive, and with his A3. Even a usable aura. I think this champion honestly looks great. This champion looks really strong. Yeah, Hydra Beast, he's going to be pretty good, like I said, for mid-game arena. You know, for your go second team, perhaps coming in and protecting and healing your team, even stripping some enemy buffs and provoking and stuff like that. He's going to be pretty good for that. So yeah, I think he looks great. Decreased speed could be of some use in Iron Twins. Provoke's not going to matter. I mean, Iron Twins, again, the ally protection, increased defense, and the healing is going to be very good. Though much like Hydra, I think he will be much stronger when you put him with a buff extender. Yeah, that's going to make a big difference. Or hey, if you did get, I missed him. I didn't do it. But if you did get Emic, they will combo well together, right? Because Emic can decrease ally skill cooldowns by a turn. Put him with this guy, reduce flawless stratagem. Pretty good, right? That's a good combo. between Emic and Strategos Islin, you've got yourself a super tanky duo for any Doom Tower waves and all that sort of stuff. Like, it's pretty cool. So there we go. Yeah, I think he looks great. Let me know, what do you think about this new champion? Let me just double check for you what is going to happen. So it's going to be a fragment fusion, guys. And again, it is starting on Thursday, the 31st of August. So you've got, what, 3 days to prepare? It's coming. Fragment events are generally the easier ones. You'll be able to save him as well for the next personal reward CVC, if that's something you want to do for some points there. So fingers crossed it's not going to be too difficult. But yeah, I think he's great. Again, what does Plarium say about him? Strategos Islin is a tanky champion with some nice control abilities and specific heal mechanics. Will definitely come in handy in PvE content where the crowd control is a real deal. The English is not quite right, but hey, we'll give it to him. Hydra can be his place to shine thanks to his healing abilities, as well as the Iron Twins Fortress, where apart from massive heal, the decreased speed debuff on Strategos Islin A2 will be a must. Okay, again, the English translation not quite perfect, but I think I basically agree with everything they said. It does seem like he's going to be a solid champ. Yeah, I think he looks good. Will I be going for this one? Yes, I obviously definitely will. I love me some budget Hydra videos, and you can bet that this guy is almost definitely going to feature in some of those. I'm very excited to try him out. So thank you for watching. I will obviously get back to you guys when I can with some test server footage, if there is a test server, to show off this champion. And yeah, that's it. I'll see you tomorrow for a CVC stream and building up Sun Wukong. I'll catch you all then. Goodbye.